Good morning, my friends. I'm so excited for us to be here today. Today, we're going to be learning about Cubism, a very interesting style of art that was made famous by Pablo Picasso. So before we begin, we're going to watch a short video about Pablo Picasso and his Cubism artwork. Get ready in 3, 2, 1, let's go.
We are here at the, oh my gosh, this massive, amazing Picasso painting with Larissa Bailiff. Thank you so much for your time to tell us about this amazing painting.
You're welcome, Nate. And as you said, it's really, really large scale. I mean, it's the size of an old master painting, and I think, when we look at it in a book or in slides, we might not get a sense of scale, which is really important for this. It's an ambitious work that Picasso created in 1921.
Tell me, what led him to create, this type of work? What would you define this as well?
This is a work we would call a cubist work, and even more specifically, a synthetic cubist work. So this is kind of a movement that Picasso spearheaded with a fellow innovator, Georges Braque. And they were living in France, although Picasso is a Spanish painter, and they were working through forms of abstraction and breaking down form and reconstructing it. With synthetic cubism, it's just that. It's a synthesis, and it started when Picasso and Braque began cutting up paper and sticking forms together. Now, this is a painted work. It's not cut up paper, but it carries through an idea that they'd been playing with for several years.
What's going on here? What's the subject itself? They are three musicians. Do they represent something?
Right, and I'm saying it as if we can absolutely read what's going on, right? It's three musicians, that's the title. So, I think given that, it helps us sort of locate things, and I think we can tell that there are forms of figures, but part of Cubism is that it's a bit of a puzzle. So there are three figures there, and in fact, it's a self-portrait of Picasso. Again, I act like you can recognize him, right? He's these strange forms put together, but he often showed himself in the costume of what we call a harlequin figure, a figure wearing kind of diamond pattern. And so I know that's Picasso. And he's put two figures, he's flanked by two figures who are also in disguise or costume, and they're friends of his.
And then the colors, now that looks very familiar. Are those kind of from where he's from? Why choose those really bright orange colors?
Absolutely. So Picasso is thinking about his heritage and having come from Spain. Those colors are based on the colors of the Spanish flag. He's translated them a little bit, but he's put that in there to assert his Spanishness. And also the guitar is believed to have been perhaps invented in Spain. So although he never played the guitar, he shows himself strumming a guitar and asserting that sense of national identity.
The guitar reminds me of in the Blue Period piece where he's got the guitarist, just laying on the street.
Absolutely. Interestingly enough, we think that Picasso didn't really like listening to music very much. He not only didn't play it, but some of his friends said he would get bored during performances.
That's so funny. Now, because I did know, did he do anything with theater?
I think you're really picking up on a lot of what's going on in this picture here. Not only are these figures in disguise, but he's alluding to theatrical performances and particular troupes called Commedia dell'arte, which have a long tradition of hundreds of years, and by this time were performing in Paris, and he could see them. He also did set designs and costumes for the Ballet Russe.
So I know that, before this, he was, like you said, Blue Period, and then after this, I think Surrealism. Why did he go all over the board so often?
Right, so we can call these periods, sometimes we add isms to these movements or periods of his career. One of the threads that runs throughout is that he's constantly innovating. He's constantly pushing modern art.
Question for you, too. I don't know if this is connected, but I know he always had a desire to think like a child, to get back to that root of, is this kind of along the path of that?
I love that you bring that up, and again, I think it's something that he returned to. He said, I want to look through the eyes of a child, and that, children create the best art, and I'm paraphrasing, but this was really an important thing for him. And I think that sometimes it manifests itself in looking like it was created by a child. If we think about cutting up paper and creating collage, he's taking something that children can do and taking it to another level. At this very same time, in 1921, this was created in the summer, he's creating works that are much more what we would call realistic or naturalistic. And he can work in both modes, and he's interested in working in both modes and showing off that he can work in both modes.
Yeah, he was a little proud.
A little proud. Do you see that he's in the center of the picture?
Yeah, which I would say a good artist, it's that fine line between cocky and confident, and he was right on it.
Exactly, exactly. You know, we've mentioned 3 figures in this picture. I want you to look around and see if there's another figure.
Oh, I see the tail. Is it maybe a dog down there?
Exactly.
So why the dog?
Right, why the dog? Well, first I want to just make sure that everybody can see it, because
I see its head. It's way back
sort of
there.
becomes almost a cutout shape. And when I first saw this painting, I too saw the tail and I thought, what is that? And I had to sort of reconnect, and I thought, is that a rug? He's playing with us like he does throughout the picture. Picasso loved animals, and he had animals throughout his life, including a number of dogs that were really important to him.
Well, and something that you're kind of reminding me of, I mean, the scale, this is why I love being in the museum. The scale is just enormous. Like, I had no idea how big it was. But then you've got the little hands. So, I mean, he really was playing with it.
He's really playing with it, and I think there's a contrast too, because when I look at this picture, I see joy, and I also maybe see sorrow. I'm confused in a wonderful way by the dark tones and the light tones, and the big, bulky figures, they're monumental, and yet that playful scale of the hands. I mean, how could that possibly hold that sheet music or play that guitar?
It's so childlike, but then he is so consistent about contrasting. I mean, my eye does such a good job of moving around to all the different areas. So he knew what he could throw down.
Exactly what he could throw down. He knew exactly what he was doing.
Well, thank you so much for taking some time to, point out some amazing features of this painting, Larissa.
Thanks for sharing it with me, Nate.
Whoa! Wasn't that video so interesting? I learned so much about Pablo Picasso and Cubism. Now I need you to get a pencil, paper, crayon, or markers, and we're about to start our drawing today. Let's get ready in 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Alright, the first step is to make the U that will be on your face. So, and your face needs to be pretty large because a self-portrait focuses really on the face. So I'm going to draw a pretty large U shape. That will be where my face is going to go. And then step 2 is to put a top on here. I'm going to draw this really lightly though, because I'm going to change that up to put my hair on there. So do this part really lightly because you're probably going to end up erasing it. So then you're going to go straight down from the top. Let's start a little bit to the side of the middle. You're going to go straight down. About halfway down, you're going to go to the left real quick, straight across, and then all the way down again. So that's going to be our nose. By the way, if any time during this process you want to take things a little step further, make the eye bigger, smaller, put it somewhere else, put an ear somewhere else, put the lips somewhere else or somehow else, feel free to change it up. This is just a guide, and the more you change it up, the more that I'll be impressed, really. This is just like step 1. The more you take it and make it your own, the better. So first we're going to focus on this left side. This side of the face is going to look like it's sideways. So a sideways eye looks like this. Think of it like a sideways V with an oval on it, and then an oval inside that. And you can add eyelashes if you want. And then I'm going to add an eyebrow. Eyebrows usually look something like that. And then for the lips, the best way I've found to do the sideways lips is to turn your paper sideways and to draw a heart with a line down the middle. Then when you turn it back, it looks like lips from the side. I'm going to erase my lines here. Alright, so if you were to cover up this side of the face, this looks like you're looking at a profile. That's somebody's face from the side. Now let's do this side from the front, and I'm going to move the eye down a little bit just to make it look a little bit weirder. Maybe I'm going to put it a little sideways too, like a little tilted. The weirder you can make it, the better Cubism seems to look. Yeah, a circle with a circle inside of it. Another eyebrow, and the other part of the mouth, like that. So that's going pretty well. Let's go and put the ears. The ears are pretty easy. It's just like a C shape. But I want you to put the C shape not even. Let's try to mix it up a little bit. Then for the neck, you just do 2 lines. And for the shoulders, you do a bump and a bump. And be sure you put the neckline to show people you're wearing clothes. That's important. And then the line goes down here. And you can put whatever you want to on your shirt. Any kind of shirt you want. And let's see, let's go back to the hair. So for the hair, I'm going to be making my hair because this is self-portrait. So my hair kind of goes up and to the side like this, and the side like that. And then I have a beard, which most of you watching this probably won't have a beard, so you don't have to worry about this, but I'm going to have a beard that goes down like this and up. Looks pretty good. And just to add some more detail, I'm going to make some lines in my hair. That way it'll give me some different areas like stripes that I can color. And then whatever you want to do with the background, if you want to do, I'm just going to do some random lines. That way I've got something interesting to color when it's time to color. Notice how I'm not drawing shapes, I'm just drawing lines, and I'm letting the lines make shapes when they intersect with other lines. Alright, I think that's good.
So now after drawing your picture, your portrait, now we're going to color the picture in. So make sure you have your markers, crayons, pastels, or even watercolors to paint in your picture. Here is an example.